This time, let's take a look at a unique vintage firearm, the Harmonica Gun. As its name suggests, the first thing you will notice is its iconic magazine, which looks just like a harmonica. The key feature is that after each shot, when you pull back the hammer, the magazine automatically shifts, chambering the next round and making it ready to fire. The round slides back and forth, much like the instrument in a player's mouth. This concept can be considered an attempt to turn a muzzle loader into a repeater. In essence, it was an early attempt and a crucial transition from single-shot muzzle loaders to repeating fire branch loaders. It's uncertain who first started producing the Harmonica Gun, but the concept dates back to at least the early 19th century. In March 1814, James Thompson, a merchant and inventor from Islington, London, filed a British patent for a flintlock poly-chambered gun. Interestingly, the Friesen design was the same as the Collier revolver we discussed last month. As time went on, the pinfire cartridge became more and more mature, and even became quite popular for a time. So, the Harmonica Gun's magazine also began to accommodate this new type of ammunition. In fact, I believe that by incorporating the pinfire cartridge, the gun could continue to use the old percussion muzzleloader hammer. That's why we see this unique steampunk-style gun today. If it were to use a modern cartridge, the gun's hammer would look more like a modern gun's hammer, and it would lose that iconic steampunk vintage feel. We know the Harmonica Gun is a 19th century invention, but have you ever wondered if this gold concept was borrowed by any modern firearms? It's like how the design of a modern minigun was inspired by the hand-cranked mechanical Gatling gun invented in the 1860s. In fact, there is one, the T-148 grenade launcher. The T-148 was developed from a larger project aimed at giving troops the ability to launch explosives accurately and farther than they could through hand grenades. Experiences from World War II and the Korean War undoubtedly informed the Army's goals. By the end of 1951, the Army had started work on an all-new grenade launcher. This weapon would fire a new self-contained projectile that looked like an oversized bullet, which was a 40mm grenade cartridge. Compared to the standard hand grenade, it was much safer to carry and transport because it would only explode after leaving the barrel. The new rounds could also easily fly more than 400 yards, 365.76 meters. To make the most of these new cartridges, new launchers were essential. It was against this backdrop that the T-148 was born. The T-148 grenade launcher started its testing as early as 1958. However, during the testing process, it became clear that despite the launcher's potential, it was considered bulky, unwieldy, and awkward to use. As the Vietnam War escalated, jungle warfare forced the military forces indeed to be creative and experiment with several weapon programs. As a result, the less than ideal T-148 was also sent to the battlefield. According to the most sources, about 300 T-148s were produced across the E-1 and E-2 series. In Vietnam, the T-148 got its trial by fire. It was found to be awkward, fragile, clumsy. The 3-round clip design was great for the first 3 rounds, but it was awkward to reload. A soldier would have to manually eject the spent casings by displacing an extractor release, making the reloading process quite slow. From a practical perspective, the M79 offered the same rate of fire when more than 3 rounds were fired. In comparison, the M79 was lighter, easier to produce, less clumsy, and more reliable in the dense jungle. It also proved to be the most successful design entering service in 1961 and remains in use even today. Since then, The harmonica gun concept has likely never been seen again.